एडजेक्टिव उनके नाम थे?
डियर दीपिका एंड स्वीट श्वेता।
ये तो मैंने ही बता दिए थे। एडजेक्टिव के साथ
बिल्कुल ये है कि हम भी बच्चों को अच्छी जिंदगी दे एक को भी 4 महीने हुए, एक को भी 1 महीना।
क्या बात है, बहुत सारी इन्फॉर्मेशन है आपके पास।
तो ये अभी मतलब कि कुछ ऐसा नहीं सोच पा रहे।
I would like to tell you something about Patari. She is very creative. She designs belts. वो जो stitching होता है belt पे I think it's very creative and different.
Big home for us.
If you are comfortable, इसी आसन में बैठ के आगे के कर सकते हैं, नहीं तो जैसे सुखासन में बैठे थे वैसे बैठे. You can relax yourself.
Is our at the moment is a very large project. It's called the Bhutanese Empowerment Project. So the story that I'm about to tell you actually takes place over about 100 years. So in the 1880s, a bunch of people from Nepal migrated over to southern Bhutan for land and some economic enhancement, right? For better lives. Why does anyone move anywhere? For that such reason. So they moved there, and for a while they lived with everyone else. They lived in mostly the southern part of Bhutan, and they had their own Sanskrit schools. They taught their language, Nepali language, in the schools and such things. So that all these things existed. And then over time, things got a little bit harder, and then the government started dictating what citizenship means. So at one point, they decided to, the idea came in 1989, that the country is one people, so there will only be one nation, one people. So therefore, there's only one culture. So that means all of the already existing Nepali culture that you brought in has to go away. You have to take the Bhutanese culture. So it means you have to convert to Buddhism. You can't wear your dress anymore. You can't teach Sanskrit in schools. You can't wear your traditional dress. Things like that. So many people did not want to convert naturally. Why would, if they didn't want to, they didn't want to. So they all moved back to Nepal. Unfortunately, there were so many people that Nepal couldn't give asylum to all of them. Okay, so then they ended up living, the UN created refugee camps in Nepal. So a bunch of people lived in these refugee camps for about 17 years. So in 2006, there was a resettlement program. So the US, being it's a very humanitarian nation, accepted 60,000 people to come on refugee status to the United States. 60,000 people over the next 3 years. So 1 year has already passed, and as you can see, many people have already come. They're spread out all across the country, many different cities, and we still have 2 more years. So many more people are coming. So currently, all across the country, Seva USA, as well as Hindu Swayamsevak Sangh, have been pairing up to try to help all of these people that are coming in. So there's a wide variety of issues that can come in that people need help with. So they give about 6 months of some sort of aid. The government gives for about 6 months. After that, they're expected to live on their own. So at that point, things like jobs, they need self-supporting. So they need to have jobs, they need to know how to go around wherever they're going, they need to know how to get groceries, they need to know how to do all sorts of things, how to live in this country. So together, Seva USA and Hindu Swayamsevak Sangh has been trying to help plan. We have done clothes drives, medical camps, tutoring, planned trips to mandir, to cultural programs, grocery stores, post offices, anything and everything. We have all tried to do together. So in the triangle, in particular, in Raleigh, the chapter of Hindu Swayamsevak Sangh, the Shakha in Raleigh, has been doing this, trying to get people, brings people to the mandir, hold clothes drives, teach how to drive, many different things. Tried to help support to buy a car so that people can learn to drive, things like that. I go to UNC Chapel Hill. So at UNC Chapel Hill, we have a student organization that is doing the same thing. Every week we go tutor. We have tried to have, just they don't want to convert, which is why they moved out of Bhutan to begin with. So you can imagine that they don't want to convert again. Like that's not their idea. So we've also tried to help them wander through those muddy waters as well. So that's pretty much basically 2 projects that Seva International, Seva USA, Hindu Swayam Seva Sangh is a part of. Yeah. Any questions?
Ourselves, and the sense is like we see photo that we stay in Bhutan as a people, and the process is slowly EHS.
So what she told? Doctor, how long are you here?
Only 16 days. 16 days. 6, 5 days, 5 months,
And why you wear the necklaces which all are wearing? What are the sound?
I'm married.
Married. Yeah, it's like they're married, so they wear like what we wear. They wear the same
Shirman.
Born in Sahitya. She has written stories, poems, articles and plays. She even started a Marathi school and designed a curriculum for the school. Dr. Bassert is also involved in starting Rasik Rangmancha in Keri. She is also working with Dr. Vijay Bhate, who is leading the efforts for library in Keri. With her busy schedule, she provides guidance and lectures on various social and health-related topics. I request Dr. Bassert to guide us on stress management.
I think that's perhaps what I would like to start with. If you have any other questions, any other areas, we can go there. So with that in mind, what I thought I will do is I will talk about what is stress, because we use this word in many, many different ways. So we'll define it a little bit exactly what is a stress. And that is unexamined, is not worth living. So we need to continuously examine our life, refine, and go forward. The stress definition is also very interesting. As I mentioned, we use it, today I'm stressed with children, tomorrow I'm stressed with my job. What is this stress? A Greek philosopher named Epictetus, his definition I like very much. Stress is not in the event, whether it is an accident, whether it is an illness, whether it is worrying about something. It's not the event, but it is our attitude to that event that decides how much or how little stress it causes us. And I'll give you one example of this. In World War II, they had many soldiers were injured. So, for example, if somebody lost a left arm, one of the things that obviously there was a pain. And how do you measure pain? Nowadays we ask people to say from 1 to 10, how high is your pain? And that is a good thing to examine for yourself. You can compare your pain yesterday from your pain